Brought to you by Gamezy. Win up to rupees 5 crores every day. Download the app now.
I'm back with your top fantasy picks, and the game I'm looking at is the Rajasthan Royals versus the Kolkata Knight Riders game. Both teams have won 3 games so far and are currently, stuck in the mid-table. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about our top fantasy picks. Budget buys. Well, choosing budget buys from both these sides was a tad difficult because nobody really has been performing that well. But still, from the Rajasthan Royals, I have picked Prasidh Krishna because he'll be up against his former side. And we have seen in the IPL so far, players who have been playing against their former sides doing really well. So maybe Prasidh Krishna is somebody you could look at. I have also picked Devdutt Padikkal, even though he has also not had a great season so far. But among the Rajasthan batsmen I was looking at, and among the budget buys who fit that 8 or 8.5 credits criteria, Devdutt Padikkal is another buy. For the Kolkata Knight Riders, I have gone with Nitish Rana, who was very impressive in that last game, scored 54 or 56 runs he scored, and I thought he finally found form, and now maybe he'll score a lot of runs this season if he gets going. Nitish Rana is one. You could look at somebody like a Venkatesh Iyer as well, even though just 150 in the last few games, but you got to expect something from an opener, from somebody who can bowl a few overs, even though he really hasn't set the tournament on fire. Maybe Venkatesh Iyer is another option you could be looking at. And yes, not to forget, because I had made a note about Umesh Yadav in my phone. Umesh Yadav, last 2 games, probably hasn't done much. 4 overs, 48 runs in one game, and then had gone for a few runs in the last game too, and did not pick many wickets. So I think Umesh Yadav, because of his earlier pedigree, because of the performances he had in the first 4 games, still I think I can take a punt on him for this game as well. If he doesn't perform, maybe next game I won't pick him, but I have picked him from the Kolkata Knight Riders side for this game at least. Overseas options. Well, the big miss last game, I was going to say the big difference, and it was a big difference as well. Trent Bolt did not play the last game, and that changed the entire combinations Rajasthan Royals could work with. They played Rassie van der Dussen, and they also got in Jimmy Neesham into the side, but that did not help their cause, and they lost the game. This game, if Trent Bolt is fit enough, I expect them to go with a different combination again. And maybe Van der Dussen, because he's only played 2 games in the IPL so far, gets another opportunity, but they could also be looking at another option in the form of a Daryl Mitchell, because we have seen Devdutt Padikkal as an opener really hasn't fired in the last 2 games, so maybe they need somebody to open the innings for them, and if Daryl Mitchell is opening with Jos Buttler, that could provide them with sort of a decent opening wicket partnership, which has been missing for Rajasthan in most games. So Devdutt Padikkal then would drop down to 3, and then the rest of the order will follow. Jimmy Neesham though will definitely go out for me if Trent Bolt is fit, and my 4 overseas players if Trent Bolt is fit, because I have seen them struggle with their opening partnership, and maybe the option now they need is a Daryl Mitchell, because they've tried everything else. So Jos Buttler of course will play. We know Shimron Hetmyer will of course play, and then Trent Bolt, if he is fit, missed out with a freaky niggle is what Sanju Samson called it. Maybe he's fit for this game and he'll also play. The 4th guy is like a lottery. Could be Rassie van der Dussen, could be Daryl Mitchell, could be James Neesham. My gut feeling says that for now they might go with Rassie van der Dussen only, but if they want to make a change, Daryl Mitchell is another option. By the way, not many people know that he can bowl a few overs as well. So you can have that 6th, 7th bowling option, which Rajasthan always need. Okay, so now let's look at Kolkata Knight Riders. I don't think they're going to make any changes to their foreign personnel, because we know Aaron Finch has only played 1 game. He'll get another opportunity. Scored a 6, got out after that. Did not do much in the first game, but yes, second game coming for him. Finch will be there. We know Sunil Narayan will be there. We know Andre Russell will be there. And we know Pat Cummins will be there. So those are the 4 overseas players for KKR. Captaincy choices. Well, if I look at the Rajasthan lineup, there's only one guy who I can think of making my captain, and that's Jos Buttler, and the kind of performances he has given us. He's the orange cap holder till now, scored 100, scored a sensational 50 in the last game. So Josh Butler is definitely somebody I'm looking at. Sanju Samson could have been another option, but my problem with Samson is that he started this IPL off so well, looked in great touch, and now he's again drifted off. A story we have seen over the past few seasons. For Kolkata Knight Riders, again only one guy I'm looking at from the KKR side also. Even though before this every game I talked about Shreyas Iyer as a big captaincy choice, but unfortunately every time he has got the start, except that one game he scored a 50, he has thrown it away in the middle stages. And for me that's a huge problem, and he's not been consistent enough. Even though again last game 28 runs he scored, looked in good touch, but then got out trying to premeditate a short delivery perhaps from Umran Malik, and then Umran Malik bowled that beautiful Yorker that got rid of Shreyas Iyer. But yes, have to say that Andre Russell is a big pick in terms of captaincy choices. He gives you 2-3 overs, he'll bat also, and the kind of innings he played in the last game, you know what kind of firepower he possesses. So those were my captaincy choices from these two sides. Now let's look at my fantasy 11. So fantasy 11, I have gone in with Josh Butler, Devdutt Padikkal is there, Shreyas Iyer, Nitish Rana, Shimron Hetmyer. Then among the all-rounders, I have gone in with just one, Andre Russell. I have picked a few bowlers though. I have picked Yuzvendra Chahal, Prasidh Krishna from the Rajasthan Royals. I have picked Pat Cummins, Umesh Yadav from the KKR side. And that final spot, if Trent Bolt plays, I'll pick him. If he doesn't, I'm going to go with Sunil Narine. So that's my 11. And guys, please make sure that you download the Gamezy app through the description below, because you can win up to 5 crore rupees in daily prizes. So what are you waiting for? Download the app right now and make your team. Thank you for watching.